What are closing costs when buying a home? If you're planning to buy a home now or in the next few months, there are some fees and expenses you'll need to pay in addition to your down payment that you should know about. Other than your down payment, all money you spend when you buy a home is called closing costs, and you should know about them ahead of time. Even experienced buyers can be surprised at all the costs that are associated with buying a home today. This short video will cover what you need to know so that you can, 1, be prepared, and 2, reduce the amount of money you need when it comes time to close on your new home. Hi, I'm Joe Manausa, author of The Business of Getting Business and creator of Manausa.com, where I've helped tens of thousands of people buy and sell homes. I would like to help you too. If you already are a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. If you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so now. We offer the most accurate housing market reports on YouTube, plus answers to your real estate frequently asked questions, and we also provide virtual tours of some of the nicest homes in Tallahassee. Simply hit subscribe to get started and the bell so you're the most informed buyer or seller in your next real estate transaction. I was fortunate enough to already be listing and selling real estate as a professional when I purchased my first home, so there was no real surprises for me. But that's not the experience that many buyers face. I was recently discussing closing costs with Kevin Milligan. He's the leader and manager of our buyer specialists, and he shared with me his first experience buying a home. At the time, he was serving in the U.S. Navy and was excited to be using a VA loan because it allows service members to buy a home with no money down. As Kevin tells it, armed with a no money down VA loan, he went out with the first real estate agent he met to pick out a house. He figured he'd find a house, get it under contract, and then come back in 30 to 45 days to get his keys. He was thinking, wow, never even have to get out my checkbook. But Kevin was wrong. It seemed like every time he turned around, somebody had their hand out asking him for $400 or $500. He felt like he was responsible to pay for so many things, and he didn't even understand what they were. Appraisal? Survey? What are those? Why do I need them? Closing costs? What the heck are closing costs? And we're not talking about a little bit of money here, but several thousands of dollars. You can imagine his surprise each time he had to stroke a check. Eventually, the day before closing, he called the settlement company to find out what he needed to bring for his no money down closing the next day. He was thinking of things like his driver's license, his military ID, those kind of forms. Instead, they told him, Kevin, just bring your driver's license and a check for $88.75. Kevin replied, no, I shouldn't owe anyone $89. I've already paid all of my inspections and everything else. The settlement company agent replied, not $88.75, Kevin, it's $8,875. Kevin explained to them that they had made a mistake. After all, he was using his VA loan and it was no money down. What they said next shocked him. They said, yeah, we know it's a VA loan and you don't have a down payment, but you do have almost $9,000 in closing costs you're responsible to pay. Kevin cried, $9,000 in closing costs? What the heck are closing costs? Nobody even told me about this. The settlement company employee simply replied, tax, title, tag out the door. Can you imagine how embarrassing it was as a lieutenant in the United States Navy to have to call his dad and ask for $9,000 so he could close on the house the next day? It was humiliating. He wished somebody would have explained these things up front so he could have been prepared. Don't let this happen to you. I will cover the basic closing costs that you should expect to pay when buying a home. You can use this information to help you prepare for your next purchase. Let's group all the buyer closing costs into 2 categories, those you pay for in advance and those you pay for at the closing table. Though it's not a closing cost, you should also be prepared to write a check for an earnest money deposit. This is also called a good faith deposit or binder check, and you provide it with your written offer to show the seller that you're serious. Typically, the minimum amount of this check is about 1% of the purchase price. So, for example, on a $300,000 home, you would include a check for $3,000 or more as a good faith deposit. Anything less than 1% might cause the seller concern about your commitment and your ability to close on the home. In today's highly competitive, low inventory market, you do not want to appear weak to a home seller. This could cause you to have your offer devalued and move the seller to negotiate with a buyer who appears stronger than you. This check serves to bind the deal, and it goes into an escrow account at the law firm or title company that is handling the settlement. The binder deposit is applied toward your down payment at closing. The first group of closing costs includes those you pay in advance for work done to help you determine if the home is acceptable to you for the price you're paying. There are numerous inspections that your real estate agent will order from professional service providers. Some of these inspections are optional for you, and some of them will be required by your lender if you're borrowing money to purchase the home. You should review each one thoroughly with your real estate buyer's agent. The contract that you negotiate with the seller will include a period of time for you to inspect the home. We refer to this as the due diligence period. The inspections are done during your due diligence period to ensure the home that you are buying is in good working order and safe to occupy. These fees are most often paid in advance at the time of service by the professional. Some of the common inspections in Tallahassee include the home inspection. This will typically cost between $350 and $500 depending upon the size of the home you're buying. The home inspector will test all working systems in the home and provide a detailed report of everything that is discovered. You will find 3 basic types of results in this report. First, a list of all things that should be fixed prior to you occupying the home, like a broken heating and cooling system or a hot water heater that is failing. Second is a list of things that you might want to consider getting done before moving in, things that are cosmetic in nature but might cause you to want to fix them, like fogged windows or cracked floor tiles. The third and final list of imperfections that you should be aware of, and this often serves as your honey-do list for several months or years to come, things that are not very noticeable but could be improved to make the home nicer. Things like cleaning up pinholes in the walls and repainting a spare bedroom. Remember, no home is in perfect condition, not even new construction. The purpose of this inspection is to have a licensed professional look at the entire house to inform you of these imperfections. Another inspection you'll need is a wood-destroying organism inspection, also known as a WDO inspection and formerly known as a termite inspection. This will typically cost between $125 and $175 depending upon the size of the home. Tallahassee is among the most humid places on this planet where people live, so all homes have some level of WDO issues. This inspection serves to identify them and to ensure that proper countermeasures are in place. If the home you are purchasing does not have a sewer connection, then it will have a septic system to handle wastewater. You will need a septic inspection in order to ensure that the system is operating correctly. The fee for this typically is around $350, and of course you only need to pay it if you have a septic tank. If the home you are purchasing is not connected to city water or a private water provider, then it will have a well and a pump to deliver the water that you'll need. You'll want to test the well to ensure that it is in good working order and delivering safe and healthy drinking water. The fee for this inspection is typically around $100 or so, and of course you only need this if there's a well. If you're borrowing money in order to purchase the home, the lender is going to require an appraisal be done. The appraisal will typically cost between $450 and $550. Banks are concerned about over-lending on a home, so the appraisal serves as insurance for the lender that the home is worth at least what you're paying. The key to keeping your costs down is to follow a systematic approach to buying a home. This is why you do not want to flippantly throw out offers to sellers, because if you end up under contract on the wrong home, you'll end up paying money for inspections that you won't get back when you decide not to buy the home. Over the past 30 years, I've helped many buyers who have already terminated contracts with previous sellers while working with other real estate agents. They had paid for inspections on multiple homes that they never bought. They were out thousands of dollars because they were not getting the right guidance. For this reason, we order the inspections in a very specific order to alleviate you spending excess money on a home you won't own if you decide to terminate the contract during your due diligence period. We'll coordinate with the lender to order the appraisal only after you're satisfied with all the inspection results whenever possible. A boundary survey is a process that determines boundary lines and defines true property corners of the parcel of land that you're acquiring with your home. It identifies any easements or encroachments and may also show the limitations imposed on the property by state or local regulations. The survey will be ordered after the contingency period, and the fee for the survey is paid at closing as part of closing costs. In Tallahassee, the buyer's closing costs typically add up to about 3 to 5% of your total acquisition costs, and they're paid at closing. These include both fees and taxes. That's right, taxes. The government wants a piece of the action too. Not only will you be paying property tax, but you'll also pay tax on the documents required to buy a home. You'll pay doc stamps on the note when you borrow money, and you'll pay property taxes when you own the home. When borrowing money, the lender will want you to bank some money in order to ensure that your property taxes and homeowner's insurance are always paid. They call this an escrow account, and at closing they'll collect money for both taxes and insurance. They will also collect taxes and insurance from you with each monthly payment so that you'll always be replenishing your escrow account so that your taxes and insurance can be paid each year that they come due. You'll pay for a title insurance policy that protects both you and the lender from financial loss if there's a defect in the title to the property. As part of your settlement costs, you'll pay for municipal lien searches, recording fees, transaction fees, and loan fees. Again, all of these closing costs will add up typically to 3 to 5% of the purchase price. In some situations where you might be limited on cash, we might be able to negotiate with the seller to cover some of these expenses on your behalf. So that about covers it. Did it help you better understand what is meant by closing costs when you buy a home? If so, let me know in the comments section below. You can also ask any other real estate related question, and I'll see if I can produce the answer for you in a future video. So remember to subscribe to our channel so you know when future answers to your questions are posted. Here's one we just recorded. Discover who is responsible for determining the market value of the home you want to buy in the video at the top left, or get answers to your real estate frequently asked questions by clicking on the box below it.